It always begins with something small, a glance, brief, but electric. A flicker of interest in her eyes that strikes you deeper than it should. It doesn't feel like ordinary attention, it feels personal, significant, tailored to you. In that moment, you feel seen in a way that bypasses logic. It bypasses years of emotional training and touches a part of you didn't even know was still seeking. Your chest opens, your mind softens. Your mission fades slightly in the background. You don't realize it, but that one look has shifted your entire chemistry. She didn't need to speak. Her silence said everything. And now, you're invested. But you think it's her you're chasing. It's not. What you're really chasing is how she made you feel in that one moment. That version of yourself she temporarily mirrored back at you, desired, validated, worthy. That's the trap. It's subtle, it's elegant, and it's powerful. She never had to manipulate you overtly. All she had to do was spark the high. That small dose of emotional euphoria gets burned into your nervous system. And when she inevitably pulls back, you feel the withdrawal. You tell yourself something changed. You try to decode why she suddenly seems more distant, colder, more reserved. But what you don't see is the pattern. Give a little, then pull away, compliment, then go silent. It's not random. It's emotional rhythm. She's not overtly playing a game, but your reactions teach her what works. When your energy spikes at a compliment, she takes note. When you chase her after a quiet day, she learns she's in control. Not through words, but through emotional leverage. That's when the chase begins. And not for love, but for the next hit of feeling seen. That's how the interest trap sets its hook. The longer you stay in it, the deeper it digs into your psyche. You find yourself checking your phone more often. You wait for her name to pop up, and when it doesn't, a quiet panic creeps in. You tell yourself not to care, but your mood already shifted. You overanalyze a message she sent 2 hours ago. Was it cold? Was she busy? Did you say something wrong? You begin to feel like you're slipping, like your grip on the situation is fading. But the truth is, you never had control. She did. The moment your emotions became tethered to her attention, she didn't have to do anything loud or dramatic. To control you, all she had to do was change her tone or delay a response. Now you're in a loop, a pattern of chasing emotional highs and avoiding the lows. You mistake anxiety for excitement. You think about her more than you should. And yet, she doesn't do anything overtly wrong. She just stays slightly out of reach, enough to keep you interested, but never enough to satisfy you. That's the genius of it. You're no longer attracted, you're addicted. And like any addiction, you start rationalizing her distance. You defend her behavior. You convince yourself she's just busy, just tired, just overwhelmed. But deep down, you know the truth. If she wanted to be close, she would. You just don't want to accept it, because accepting it means facing the withdrawal. And that withdrawal is brutal. It feels like rejection, like failure, but it's not. It's just your body screaming for the next emotional fix. Most men never escape this phase. They live in it for months, even years, hoping she returns to who she was in the beginning. But she won't, because that version was bait. This is where the trap tightens around your identity. You don't just miss her presence, you need her affirmation to feel whole. Her validation becomes oxygen. A compliment from her lights up your entire nervous system. Her silence makes you question your worth. You tell yourself you're just being thoughtful, trying to make things work, trying to be a good man. But in reality, you've surrendered your center. She doesn't even need to withdraw completely to keep control. A slight shift in tone, a little less enthusiasm in her replies, and suddenly you're spiraling. You start apologizing for things you didn't do, explaining feelings she never asked about, checking in just to feel some sense of stability. Your entire emotional state becomes reactive. You're no longer grounded. You're performing, hoping, pleading silently. You act like this connection is still mutual, but you're the only one putting in effort now. She doesn't need to ask for anything because you're giving everything in anticipation. You think you're proving love, but what you're really proving is your dependence. You've handed her the emotional remote control to your life, and every time she presses a button, your mood responds. You're trying to win her back, but the irony is that the more you try, the more you confirm her power. And that's when she fully steps into the role of the one who evaluates, while you become the one seeking approval. It's no longer a relationship, it's a performance. You're on stage, auditioning for the role of good enough, hoping she see it and finally return to the version of herself that made you feel alive. But that version isn't coming back. And deep down, part of you already knows it. You just don't know how to let go of who you thought she was. The exit from the trap doesn't begin with her changing, it begins with you waking up to the reality that your peace is worth more than her attention. That no woman, no matter how beautiful, mysterious, or affectionate she once was, is worth your self-abandonment. You start by doing what most men never do, detaching from the reward. That rush you felt from her compliment, her message, her soft voice, you have to let it go. You have to stop chasing the high and start reclaiming your stillness. The kind of stillness that doesn't get shaken by her silence. The kind of calm that remains when affection disappears. That's the beginning of masculine sovereignty. It's not about ghosting or playing games. It's about no longer folding under emotional pressure, no longer overcompensating when her energy dips, no longer sacrificing your values to keep her interested. And when she sees that shift, everything changes. She might test harder at first, disappear longer, flirt with the idea of pulling you back in, but your new energy doesn't chase, it doesn't react, it observes, it stays grounded. And that grounded presence, that emotional stillness is what breaks the cycle. Because now you're not proving anything, you're just being. You're not begging for her return. You're centered in your purpose. The need for her approval? Gone. The obsession with her interest? Faded. And in its place, something stronger, clarity. You see through the pattern now. You understand that the push-pull game was never about love, it was about power. And now that you're not handing yours over, she either adapts or disappears. Either way, you win. Because you're no longer playing the role of the emotionally starved man. You've become the grounded one. The man who leads with presence, not performance. When you stop chasing, the entire game collapses. Not because she gives up, but because the trap only works when you're emotionally reactive. And now, you're not. You've pulled your energy back, not with bitterness, but with calm. Your silence speaks louder than all your past messages combined. She'll feel the shift. She may test you again, reach out, flirt, drop breadcrumbs, to see if she still has access. But this time, you won't take the bait. You're not ignoring her to win. You're simply no longer available to be emotionally manipulated. That's the difference. Your detachment isn't a performance. It's a reflection of your inner peace. You've remembered your worth. And in doing so, you've become untouchable. To chaos, that changes everything. The women who once fed off your validation start to lose interest, not because they're done playing, but because they realize they no longer control the board. Your frame is too solid now. Your attention has become expensive. It's no longer handed out freely to anyone who triggers your emotions. And in that stillness, you become magnetic. But this time, you're not responding to it, evaluating it. You don't chase affection anymore. You recognize consistency. You value respect. You notice alignment. That's the real transformation. Because now, the game isn't about winning her back, it's about choosing yourself first. Every single time, you see through the illusion. You've burned the fantasy. And in doing so, you've reclaimed your power. You no longer fall for emotional highs. You walk with emotional discipline. And any woman who doesn't bring peace, presence, and partnership isn't welcome. You've outgrown the interest trap, not because you mastered it, but because you've moved beyond the need to play it at all. Now, you lead. And only those ready for truth walk beside you.